Hey everyone, it's Amy Dugan here, and today I just want to talk to you about a woman, an entrepreneur who I really look up to. It's the first woman who comes to mind when I think of somebody that I really, think has gone about entrepreneurship in all the right ways and has bootstrapped a business all by herself with her own money and has become a self-made billionaire who is changing the lives of women around the world with her products and is also running a value-based company. Like, she cares about giving back, she cares about really impacting her market and making a positive difference. And her name is Sara Blakely. And I've talked about her multiple times before, but I just want to tell you, her story kind of before, during, and after, and takeaways that I've gotten from her journey. So first of all, her name's Sara Blakely. She's the founder of Spanx, which is like a women's undergarment brand. And she saw the problem in the market that women's undergarments were being made by men, and essentially they weren't comfortable. Like, women didn't like wearing them. They're very uncomfortable. They're not practical. And it's because, how can a man understand like how it needs to fit and what's comfortable on a woman's body, because they're not even using the product. So immediately she entered into that space, and she didn't know the most. She says she didn't have any business experience, but she cared the most. She cared the most, and that was one of the biggest things she credits to her success, is that passion. And before she started Spanx, she was selling fax machines door to door, and that, as you can imagine, is probably one of the hardest jobs you could possibly do, right? So she said, like, she would get the doors slammed in her face all the time. She would always be like, okay, what can I do better? Like, why aren't they buying? Then she just got really good at sales, door to door sales. And that's the hardest thing you can do. That's even harder than, phone sales, etc. So essentially, when she started Spanx, she was still working full time selling fax machines. And she knew that if she told people about her idea for Spanx, that they might shut her down and that they might bring down her idea. So pretty much what she did is she was like, okay, I'm going to start this company and I'm not going to tell anybody about it, not even my family, because she knew if she told them about it, they wouldn't have like the mentality to support her. She knew that they would be like, oh, that's not going to work, this and that. So, and she didn't want to get defeated by their opinions. So she kept it to herself for 2 years. Do you know how hard that is? Like, when you have an idea, you're like, you want to tell everybody, you're so excited about it. So like, she kept that to herself for 2 years. And when she did finally tell people about it, it was when she actually like secured deals with the company. And she didn't quit her fax machine job until she secured her big distributor. I think it was with Nordstrom. So that's when she made the transition from quitting her job selling fax machines to going 100% in on Spanx. So the really cool thing about Sara Blakely and Spanx, she started with her own money. She didn't know what she was doing. She cared the most. She saw a problem in the market that she wanted to fill. And she cares so much about women empowerment, and creating products that women love. And she is a self-made billionaire with her company Spanx. She still owns 100% of her company to this day, which means, she's been relentlessly saying no to different like investment opportunities and very, tempting, incredible opportunities to maintain full ownership of her business. And she has a husband. She has, I think, 4 kids, and she's just like a total badass. She's like one of the most incredible role models for me. And also, she gives back to help small businesses, women-owned small businesses. And she's huge on contribution, which I really love as well. And she's a very abundance mentality, value-based woman. And she also was mentored by men the entire time. She had a mentorship community of men because she felt like that's where the strategy was, and she couldn't really find strategy in the women's space. So it's kind of similar to why I started Online Biz Academy, to bridge that gap between keeping the warmth that women add to the market and the support and that family level, environment, but also equipped with the tools that like men use as far as strategy, and creating that balance between feminine and masculine to create just this amazing medium. So my main takeaways from Sara Blakely is that, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. There is abundance in the market. You don't have to have that like cutthroat mentality. She talks about that, and she talks about how people would say that to her all the time, and she never wanted to adopt that mentality. And she has her own unique, blue ocean. And also to care the most. Like, if you care the most and you have the biggest why, that's more powerful than everything else. All of the things underneath that, all the strategy, all the everything, caring the most and enrolling people in your vision is ultimately what's going to help you build an incredible company where everyone wants to be involved and everyone wants to help and everyone wants to, work with you. So lastly, my last lesson from her is, or my last two lessons is like, she puts so much importance on not just marketing, but having a great product and being customer obsessed. And it's like you can't have one and not the other. It's like you need a great product, you need a great, you need to be customer obsessed and make sure that you're always improving your product or service. And on the other end of the spectrum, get it in front of as many people as possible. So it's like, if you are only doing the marketing side of it and you have a shitty product or service, then it's like people are only going to buy it and then they're going to spread bad words about it. You're not going to get more customers. You can't grow a successful business with a crappy product or service. You just cannot. It'll be short term and it'll fail. And then another lesson from her is her relentlessness. She talks about, to this day, she always has feelings of like, can I still do this? I feel like, oh my God, this business is hard. Like, business is hard. Like, how does she keep herself going? And she talks about how no matter what level of her journey, she always has doubts and she always has moments where she feels like she wants to quit. And the reason she doesn't quit is she keeps that relentless attitude by keeping an environment of entrepreneurs around her who help her and supportive people in her life, and surrounding herself with positivity, good environment, things like that, to keep her in a good state of mind and pushing forward through the obstacles. And she always falls back on her why of empowering women, and also because the women before her who didn't have this opportunity, she has the world at her fingertips to create impact, and we all do. And lots of people before us have not had these opportunities that we have, and take advantage of that and be grateful for that. So anyways, that's my take on Sara Blakely's story and the lessons that I've learned from her. I hope that was interesting, and I hope that helps you on your entrepreneur journey and in life. And thanks so much for listening. See you in the next one.